Welcome back to Brandon's BJJ. Today we're going to be looking at every white belt and most blue belts' first leg lock. It is the straight ankle lock. So getting to this position is very simple. All we're going to do is get into the 50-50 position, take our opponent's leg, one leg under, one leg over, and then we're going to get this over grip around our opponent's ankle. So it's a basic position, has a lot of setups, but there's a lot of little things going on to get this perfect. A lot of people screw this one up, so follow along. We're going to go through everything together. So we're going to start from the feet up, starting with the 50-50 position. I don't like this as much because I don't have as much control over my opponent's hip and my legs are vulnerable for counterattack. So I want to switch this. My top side leg, I just want to put it underneath on the hamstring or the butt area of my opponent. This foot, I want to bring it to the hip. This way, I can extend and take the slack out of my opponent's leg, which I'll explain in a minute. And the reason I like this again for stretching the leg is so the knee line doesn't get cleared. His knee is under my knees, he's escaped. So I want to keep this in here so I can stretch out. The reason I want to stretch my opponent's leg out, again, we want to take the slack out of our submission so that the joint is already at the breaking point. And you'll see here, a lot of times people's most common defense is they'll try and pull away. But you see how when I'm pulling away, I'm taking the slack out of my own leg and extending it. This actually makes it worse for me. So with this position I showed earlier with a foot on the hip and a foot under the hamstring, not only if I try to push in, can he push me away, he's extending me out. I want my opponent to go this way anyway, so keep that in mind. So next, let's look at getting our opponent's foot. So once again, if you look at your forearm, this part is soft, this is soft, but this is hard and bony. So when you're going to grab around your opponent's ankle, make sure the bony part of your wrist is against the bottom of their ankle joint. A lot of times the reason a lot of people screw this up is because they fall straight backwards and they try to pull like this. Any foot lock, there has to be a bend and a twist. So here's how we're going to fix that now. For starters, you don't want to be too far up. See where the top of the foot is? I want just the top of the toes in my armpit. To make it perfect, you can actually reach over, use your secondary arm to pull this into the right spot. To make sure you're using the bony part of your wrist, put your palm to your chest, grab here. Now, for the finish, I want to go to my side here on my elbow. I'm going to bring my elbow behind my chest, and from here I'm going to pinch my knees, and I want you to think about looking away from your partner. Try and get belly down. That way, you're adding the bend and the twist to the ankle. So we're going to finish off here. So again, one foot in the hamstring or butt, this one on the hip, so we can stretch them out. Secondary arm, top of the toes in the armpit, bony part of our wrist, interlock, pinch the knees, tight, extend out, and when we go down, bring the elbow behind the chest, elbow behind the chest, and then for our finish, I want you to look over your shoulder and try and go belly down. So look away, shoulder. No one's getting out of that, and I guarantee you'll get the tap every time. So why don't you try it for yourself.